not you. I'm asking those how well they are today. Ask how they are today.
Hello.
Now ask them how they are.
Hello.
Yeah. So as you can see, Elliot and Archie couldn't make it today. Instead, we have, who have we got with us?
Captain.
No, but who are you?
Iron.
Shh, Debbie, it's you. So you are Batman,
Iron.
and they are super what?
Hero.
You're not Iron Man, you're Captain America. Yeah, so what are you? Super?
Hero.
Okay. And what do superheroes do? Does anybody at home? They do? Well, yeah, but what do superheroes do? Anybody know? Write it in the chat if you know what superheroes do. They, if somebody's in trouble, superheroes, they save. They save you, don't they? That's why we're dressed up as superheroes today. But who is the biggest superhero, Desani? Who is the biggest superhero? If you know who the biggest superhero is, say it in the chat. Okay, I'll give you a clue. It's not Batman. It's not Robin. It's not Captain America. It's not Iron Man.
I think it's Superman.
No, it's not Superman. It's somebody beginning with G. God. God. Yeah, God is the biggest superhero. So we've got a memory verse for us. We're going to learn about the memory verse because God is the biggest superhero because he can save us from anything in the whole world. Okay, because God is so strong and so mighty. So, can you, are we filming this bit on the floor? Right, so the memory verse today then is, the Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. Okay, and that's found in Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 17. Okay, so we'll say it all together. Are you going to help as well? The Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. Zephaniah 3:17. Are you all saying this at home?
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to take a word away. The Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 17. Yeah, I'm going to take something else away now. Okay, I'm going to take away this one. The Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 17. Okay, so we take another one away.
Yeah.
The Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 17. Should we take another one away?
Yeah.
Should we take them all away?
Yeah.
Should we just do that one?
Yeah.
The Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 17. Okay, brilliant. So I hope you've all learnt that. Have you all learnt it?
Yeah.
Can you all say that now? Okay, so today we're going to learn all about a man called Daniel. Yeah, now Daniel faced some really difficult situations. He faced losing his friends, losing his job, losing his home, not being able to do the things that he wanted to do. He faced even losing his life. Okay, he faced all these horrible things, and we're going to learn about this in the story because Daniel dared to be different because he knew that he served an awesome God, an awesome and an incredible God. Okay, so we're going to learn about that today, how Daniel dared to be different. So we're going to say goodbye now, aren't we?
Bye.
And we're going to move on to the next bit of our programme. Enjoy it, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.
Hello, welcome to Games. I hope you're ready to have some fun. So today we are going to be playing a game called Spot the Difference. I do hope you've got your spotting eyes ready to start spotting. So let's go. So in the bowls I've got oranges, onion, lemon, lime and potato. Sorry, they're growing a bit, but all part of the fun. Okay, so have a look at that for a few seconds. Try and memorize what you can see in both bowls. And then I'm going to remove something and you'll have to spot what's missing. So, hence, spot the difference. Hope you're ready. Right, so have a good look. What do you think you can spot? What's not in the right bowl, this in the left bowl? So that would be your right, my left, and the other way around as well. So what's missing? Can you guess it right? Well done if you said the lime is missing from that bowl, because you can still see the lime in that bowl. Excellent. Now we're going to take something else away again and then see if you can spot the difference. Okay, what do you think is missing? What can you spot? Have a good look. Take a few seconds. Yeah? Can you see that the orange is missing from that bowl? And what else can you spot? Something else is in the bowl. Have a look. Yes, there's now 2 limes in the bowls. Okay, how's that? I hope you were able to pick that up. So, time to spot the difference again. Right then, what can you spot? What's not in one bowl but in the other bowl? Have a second to think about that. Did you guess it right? Well done if you did. Okay, hope you got that. So what was missing? Onion was missing from that bowl, and we've got onion in that bowl. Should we have another round? I think so. This is so much fun. Okay. Right then, here we go. So have a look. Can you spot the difference from both bowls? What do you think is missing? Give you a second to think about that. Have a very good look. Did you guess it right? Yeah? So 2 garlics are missing. So if you've got that right, well done. Yeah? Should we have another go for the last time? Excellent. Right then. So, can you spot the difference? What's not in one bowl but in the other bowl? Okay. For the last time, have a guess. Have you guessed it right? If you've said the lemon, well done. That's what's missing from this bowl. So, what we've learned today is about being different. And there's nothing wrong with being different. In fact, God made all of us in his own image. So, as you go forward this week, embrace your difference, because you are special no matter what. Have a good week. See you soon. Bye.
against something really big, just remember what God has said. Be strong, be strong, be strong, and very courageous. Be strong, for I am always by your side. Queen Esther stood before the king. Joseph was left sold as a slave. David had courage to face Goliath. They trusted in their God. If you're up against something really big, just remember what God has said. Be strong, be strong, be strong, and very courageous. Be strong, for I am always by your side. Be strong, very courageous. Be strong, for I am always by your side. Be strong, for I am always by your side. Be strong, for I am always by your side. Be strong, for I am always by your side.
Hello. I wonder if you have ever had a time in your life where you've had a difficult decision to make, where perhaps you've known what the right decision is, but it's been a really difficult thing to do. I know that that's happened to me once when I just bought something new, and you know that excited feeling you get when you get something new. That was me. And then I really felt like God was asking me to give it away to someone else. And I didn't want to do it. And it sounds like such a small thing, but it felt massive at the time. And I did what God wanted me to do, or what I thought God wanted me to do, but it wasn't an easy choice. But today we're going to learn about someone who had some difficult decisions to make. And we're going to find out what this person in the Bible did. Now, this story in the Bible was written a long time ago. It's from the Old Testament, so even before Jesus was born. And God had given his people a new land, so it was all very exciting, but unfortunately God's people weren't faithful to him. And so they ended up as slaves in another land far away, which wasn't great, but God still couldn't find many people that still loved him and were praying to him, apart from a man whose name was Daniel. And Daniel used to pray every day to God. He loved God and he was faithful to him. And he was a hard worker, so that he actually became one of the king's men. He had a great job and he loved it. But that meant that some of the king's men became jealous of him. They wanted to do the jobs that he got to do. So they tried to set a trap for Daniel. They knew that Daniel loved God and that he prayed to God every day. So they went to the king and said, "We've got a great idea, Your Majesty. Why not make a rule that it becomes against the law to pray to anyone but you, the king?" And the king thought, that sounds like a good idea. I suppose it made the king feel really important. So he agreed. That meant that if anyone was found praying to anyone other than the king, they would be in real trouble. This was a bit of a problem for Daniel because he loved God. He didn't want to pray to the king. He respected the king. He liked the king, but he knew that the only person that deserved his worship and his prayers was God himself. What a difficult thing to do. Much more difficult than my decision about whether or not to give away something I'd just bought. This was a really difficult decision because Daniel knew that if he did the right thing, it could mean that he was maybe even sentenced to death. Because in those days, if you did something that the king didn't agree with or broke the law, that's what would happen. What on earth do you think Daniel is going to do? What would you do in such a situation? This is a really difficult decision to make. I wonder if Daniel will dare to be different. Sometimes it's difficult to dare to be different, isn't it? Sometimes we want to fit in and for people to like us and to do what everyone wants us to do, to be popular. Daniel had a difficult decision to make. Not only would praying to God make him unpopular, it could even put him in prison or even cost him his life. Well, Daniel decided that he was still going to pray to God. And he could have locked himself away in a room somewhere and closed the curtains and done it in secret. But he didn't even do that. He used to pray next to the window so that if anyone was walking past, they could see what he was doing. He wasn't ashamed. He dared to be different because he knew that this was what God would want from him. Well, of course, one day when he was praying, Daniel's enemies were watching. And they knew that they caught him out. So they went straight to the king and said, "Your Majesty, there's a man called Daniel that works for you, and we have seen him praying through the window. We've seen him praying to God and not praying to you." And actually, the king was really sad when he heard this because he liked Daniel, but he knew that if a law had been made, he couldn't ignore that law. He had to follow through with that law, with that command. So Daniel was in real trouble. The king gave the orders. He said, "Well, we're going to have to throw Daniel into a den full of lions. We're going to have to punish him." And this made the king really, really sad. But even then, Daniel continued to pray. Do you know what he prayed? He prayed that God would save him, but he also said, even if God doesn't save me, I'm still glad I made this choice. God is still good. God is still faithful. That was how faithful Daniel was and how certain he was in the goodness of God. So Daniel was thrown into a den full of lions. I don't know whether you've ever been to the zoo and you've seen the lions, but you can't go into the cage with them. It's too dangerous. They even have these special trap doors so that they can close them and then open them and then close them again, so that when you're feeding them, when the zookeepers are feeding them, it's really, really safe. And the fencing around the lion's cage has to be really, really secure. So to be thrown in with lions that were already hungry, because what they did was they didn't feed the lions purposely, so that when Daniel went in, the lions would have been really hungry. Well, the pit was dark. The pit was deep. And when Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, the lions licked their lips. They showed their teeth. They opened their mouths and moved towards Daniel, but they didn't eat Daniel. They didn't touch Daniel. The lion's mouth snapped shut. Slowly, Daniel turned around and saw the face of an enormous angel. God was with him in the lion's den, protecting him. What an amazing thing. God was rewarding Daniel's faithfulness. The angel smiled over Daniel and told him to get some sleep. Can you imagine that? Going to sleep. Sometimes if I'm worried about something at night, I can't go to sleep. I think if I was in a den full of lions, the last thing on my mind would be having a snooze. But that's what Daniel did. And the next day, when the king went to see the lions, he couldn't believe that Daniel was still in there alive. "Pull him out," he ordered his men. So they did. And Daniel was walked back to the palace. And then the king ordered that those men that had snitched on Daniel, those men that had told the king what Daniel had been up to, that they needed to be thrown into the lion's den. And that's what's happened. Do you think the lions ate the men this time? Or do you think they just weren't hungry? Well, very different. This time the lion's jaws did open and they did snap shut, and those men that had told on Daniel and trapped him were no more. What do you think we can learn from this story? I think we can learn that making the right decisions is often very difficult. But when we do, we can be so certain and so sure that God is with us that we won't regret it. Thanks for listening.
Hello children, so here we are today in the kitchen for today's craft, and I've got a question for you. Have you ever eaten lion? Well, I've eaten lion and it's absolutely delicious, yummy yummy, because today's lion that we're going to make is made out of fruit. So the most important thing is to choose your favourite fruits. Now I've chosen pineapple, because I love pineapple, grapes, bananas, blueberries, some little oranges and strawberries. So actually I like most fruits. So you choose the fruits that you like, and here we go. For the face you're going to need something round. Now I've chosen a pineapple ring, okay? So I'm going to put that in the middle of my plate. Now, a lion, all the way around its face has a mane, doesn't it? So that's why I'm going to use my little orange segments and put them all the way around the edge of the pineapple ring to look like a mane. Now what I forgot to say at the beginning of this is you really need to wash your hands first, because if we're going to eat this after, we need to make sure we've got no germs on our hands. So give your hands a really good wash first. Okay, I'm nearly done. I've used two little oranges for this. That should just be enough. Let's have a look. Gosh, it's looking bright and yummy already. There we go. So that's what we've got so far. And I think next I'm going to do some eyes. Now I think I'm going to use the banana. Let's see if we can peel that. And I'm going to use a knife. Now the older children here could do this on their own, but some of you might need help. I'm going to cut actually 4 slices, and I'll tell you why. I need 2 rings of banana for the eyes, okay? And 2 because the lion has ears, and I'm going to put them there for the ears. But we have a pupil in the middle of our eye, so I'm going to use blueberry for this. I'm going to cut one in half. Who loves blueberries? I do. 1, 2. This is what we're looking like so far. Okay. But we need a nice nose. Well, do you know what? I've got strawberries for the nose, so I'm going to cut my strawberry in half for the nose. And whiskers. Well, I haven't actually got fruit for whiskers, but what I've used is celery. So I've cut a stick of celery and made some really small strips out of it. So I'm going to put on each side of the nose, I'm going to put 1, move that strawberry, 2, 3 whiskers that side, and 1, 2, 3 whiskers that side. The nose in the middle, a very long whiskers. What else do I need? His mouth. So I've cut up a little grape, okay? Cut some slices off the grape, and I'm going to put them there as lions. Okay, so there we go. Let me show you a close-up. That is, if it doesn't fall off, a lion. Oh, his nose has gone. A lion's face. So I hope you really enjoy making your fruity lion today. Bye.
Decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus.
today we've been learning about Daniel, and Daniel was different. Daniel wanted to live his life the way he knew God wanted him to live, and that meant that Daniel did different things to that other people did. Being different isn't easy, especially when you're living like Daniel was living in a different country. But he knew that God would look after him. He knew that if he did the right things, God would protect him. Now sometimes we might feel a bit different to other people, to our friends, if we don't want to do the same things that they want to do, because we know it's wrong. We know that God wouldn't want us to do that. And in the same way that Daniel was different and he knew that God would protect him, we can also know that God will protect us. God loves us so much, and he will be really proud of us if we stand up for him and we show other people that we want to be different because we love God. And although it's not easy, we can know that God will be with us whatever we're doing and wherever we are. So let's just pray today. Dear Lord, thank you for the story of Daniel. Thank you that he dared to be different because he knew that it was the right thing to do. Help us as well to dare to be different because we know that you love us so very much that you want us to do the right things. Help us to remember that you will love us and protect us wherever we are and whatever we're doing. In Jesus' name, Amen. That's it for today, so I hope you have a fantastic week and I'll see you all very soon. Bye!